Alright, so first off, I want to apologize for the audio problem. Hopefully it won't be this bad before I do have the fan running again, because again, these Q&As do tend to run a long-ass time, so I want to apologize for the audio mix-up. It it sucked. I didn't realize it until I'd say about 10 people told me, 10, 12 people, informed me what I wasn't aware of, and yeah. So we're gonna try this again. The audio still may be a little messed up because I do have the fan running, and yeah, we're just gonna have to grin and bear it at this point. So yeah, as always with this Q&A outside of the the fan on, the other thing I want to bring up is of course the in case someone's question was unanswered, that usually means YouTube either marked it as spam or something else happened to it, so I apologize for that. Anyway, let's get started with this Q&A, starting off with Joshua Moore, who asks, who do you think would win in a battle against humanity, Bill Cipher or Lord Dominator? Bill Cipher, I mean, Lord Dominator's scary, but Bill Cipher is literally a godlike being. He controls space and time and matter. He can literally make the laws of physics his bitch, so there you go, Bill Cipher. Moving on now to Andrew Varney, who asks, Wander and Sylvia end up in Beach City and they encounter Connie and Steven. What happens next? Connie and Steven become BFFs with these guys, with Wander and Sylvia. I just love to see like Steven wearing Wander's hat. That would be a lot of fun to see. So yeah, there you go. Now, second question. Wander and Sylvia meet Sans and Papyrus from Undertale. What hijinks ensue? Well, probably Sans and Papyrus would think they're monsters, so they'd let them right into the underground. It'd also be really funny to see Papyrus eating spaghetti with Wander and Sylvia. Alright? Wander and Sylvia He-Man crossover. Any ideas? He-Man wouldn't... I can't do the Skeletor voice because there's people sleeping. Anyway, so think of those questions. It would be a lot of fun, especially to see Skeletor and Hater throw each other around like completely pissed off. Anyway, thank you for those questions. Andrew, moving on now to Jason Voorhees 2011. How would you write a Wander over Yonder Invader Zim crossover? Maybe have it that Zim is going, maybe the Urkin Empire and Dominator have crossed paths, and it's not a pretty sight. Meanwhile, Zim gets a distress signal calling all Urkin, saying that Dominator's collectively kicking their ass at the Urkin Empire, and now he has to go forth to save the Urkin Empire and claim to be the hero, even though they don't want him there. So that would be the big... And Wander, of course, decides to throw himself in there, because why not? Second question. Favorite Commander Peepers episode... moment. I'd say my favorite moment for Commander Peepers is... the whole episode of the Hate RV, where Peepers is just so sick of Hater's shit, it's not even funny. Third question. What other intergalactic conquerors from movies, cartoons, comics, etc. would you like to see fight the likes of Dominator, Hater, Emperor Awesome, etc. for the top of the galactic villain leaderboard? Darkseid, Frieza, Kagato from Tenchi Muyo. Few villains like that. I think, would definitely be the case. So yeah, guys, villains like them. Villains like them, honestly. So, thank you for those questions, Jason Voorhees. Moving on now to Austin Smedley, who asks, when Wander Over Yonder ends, what other shows do you think will get some limelight? Star vs. The Force of Evil. I could honestly care little to no fucks about the other shows until 2017, which is shows like the DuckTales reboot and the Big Hero 6 cartoon. I could honestly care less about everything else. Even Star Wars Rebels, I could, I watch it, but I'm not really totally invested into it as I am with Star or Wander or Gravity Falls, because, yeah, there are some things that just make me go, this is so mediocre. This is just very mediocre for me. If anyone out there watching this and watches those cartoons and enjoys them, that's totally fine. No ill will against you. Me personally, I could just not stand any of like something like Pickle and Peanut. And Disney literally only has Star vs. the Force of Evil until 2017 to hold them out. And at least with Nickelodeon, you got at least three shows to pick from now. You've got Harvey Beaks, Loud House, and Ninja Turtles. You've got those three. and Cartoon Network has got a few. Anyway. So thank you for that question, Austin. Moving on now to Matthew Roscoe, who asks, Hader versus Randy Cunningham. Who would win? I'd have to give it to Randy, because while Hader's powerful, he's not exactly the smartest person. He gets way too angry, too fast. Second question. Mr. Mixelplix and Bill Cipher meet Wander. What happens? I think they would be annoyed by Wander to no end. Third question. How would you react if Lord Dominator popped up in your room with a flaming bikini? Someone bring me a condom. You had a fourth question, but as I stated before, it's only 3 questions per person. I don't mean to be mean or anything, but yeah, that's kind of the rules. That was 3 questions per person. So I'm going to have to skip that fourth question. Anyway, but thank you for those questions regardless, Matthew. Moving on now to Fox Mulder, who asks, Wander meets the following: Martian Manhunter, the 10th Doctor, Superman, Marceline, and the Jedi Order. Well, with Marceline and Wander, it would be a pretty fun. We'd have a pretty fun banjo playing contest between those two. I think that would be not banjo, bass and banjo duet. The Doctor, Wander wandering around the TARDIS would be hilarious, and John Jones and Wander sharing Oreos. What need I say more? So think of those oh wait, you've got 2 more. Sorry. Wander travels through a wormhole and ends up meeting Red Team from TF2. What happens? I'd love to see him hang out with the Heavy. That would be awesome. Little orange thing, come with me now, baby man. Okie dokie. Anyway, third question: who would win in a game of dueling banjos, Wander or Fuzzy? It'd be like some Devil Went Down to Georgia shit now, wouldn't it? I would say that I'd say Wander. He's probably had thousands of years of experience. We don't know how old he is, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty fucking old, and he's got some experience on him. So, thank you for those questions, Fox. Moving on now to George Paldillo, who asks, how would the cast react if they saw the cast reacts to 90s cartoons and anime? I think they would be like, these kids don't know shit, and Hader would blast the computer screen. Which is most likely to happen in Wander, having a season finale, or Adventure Time's ending scene with Simon walking Marceline down the aisle? Is that an actual thing? I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with Adventure Time. Our finale, we didn't get that. We only got 30 minutes, so we kind of got neither, really. So thank you for those questions, George. Moving on now to Grod Hanks, who asks, when did you first start to watch Wander Over Yonder? My experience with Wander Over Yonder is that I watched the first episode. I watched the very first episode when it premiered. I believe it premiered right after one of the crossovers with Phineas and Ferb, if I remember right. I think it was either the Marvel or the Star Wars crossover. I can't exactly be sure. But I watched the episode because I wanted to support Craig McCracken, because obviously I'm a fan of Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and all the other stuff he worked on. But I watched the episode and I was like, this is fun, but it's not for me. I didn't jump back into it until season 2, when everyone started to get into it, back into it. And I actually got into it not because of a Dominator episode. It was actually because of an episode that involved, I was actually in a mall, and I was sitting down eating, I think, Taco Bell at the mall. And they have TV screens here at this mall, right? So I'm watching it, and I was like, oh, this is pretty funny. And it's the episode with Dr. Screwball Jones. And I love how he was making fun of Batman, how Wander was making fun of Batman. I was like, oh, this is pretty funny. And then I was like, wait a minute, that's Weird Al Yankovic as a flying, talking banana. This is awesome. And then at the end of the episode, when Tom Kenny, who voices Commander Peeper, says, once again, the day is saved, thanks to Wander and Sylvie. And I was like, done, I'm watching this now. I'm watching this religiously now. Yeah. Second question. What are some of your favorite Wander episodes? What are some of your favorite episodes? Like I said, the episode with Screwball Jones. I would also have to say that some of my other favorite episodes include... I think one of my favorite is the cartoon of just how satirical it is, and in a fun way. You have the voice of Mandark and John Hamm as the quote unquote cartoon versions of Hater and Peepers. That's awesome. And then throughout the entire episode, it's one big parody of He-Man. It's great. And then you get at the end of the episode, Dominator watching a cartoon which is a parody of Jetsons, Gravity Falls, Scooby-Doo, and you have Frank Welker as the narrator for that episode, for that little tidbit, and you have Alex Hirsch, Christian Schall, and Jason Ritter, all as these parody characters of Dipper, Mabel, Stan, and Seuss. It's hilarious. It's totally fucking hilarious. And I was like, this is probably... That was the episode... Like, the Screwball Jones episode made me go, yeah, this is a cool show, but it was that episode that made me go, I love this show. Third question. Lord Hater and Dr. Doofenshmirtz meets. What happens? Nothing good for either of them. We're fine, but everyone else is but they're screwed. Like, they cannot just work together. So thank you for those questions, Grodhanks. Moving on now to Billy McCary. Hope I'm saying that last name right, but Billy asks, what are some of your original villains that you created for Wander Over Yonder? I never really created one, sorry. Never really created any original villains. What would happen if a crossover of Wander Over Yonder and Gravity Falls happens? I don't know, but I think I would have it maybe... Wander visited Earth 20 years ago in the 80s when Bill and Ford were... Stan and Ford were still younger, and now he's come back to visit them again? I don't know. Third question. What would happen if Wander met and fell in love with a female of his species? I don't know, because we still don't know if Wander is the only one of his kind or if there's others like him. So, I don't know. It'd be interesting, but yeah, he's kind of on his own. Alright. Thank you for those questions, Billy. Moving on now to Shashin. Hope I'm 41. Hope I'm saying that name right. I apologize if I'm not. Yeah. Anyway, so Shashin, I hope I'm saying that name right, asks, why does every good show on Disney, like Wander Over Yonder, end on a second season? Well, Alex Hirsch wanted to end the show after 2 seasons. Disney, on the other hand, canceled Wander, so it's not every show. I mean, in fact, Star's coming back, and it's also got a 3rd season with the possibility of a 4th season as well. So, Star is still getting a 4th season. Pickle and Peanut is getting a 3rd season. Fuck. Anyway, second question. Who is your favorite side character on Wander Over Yonder? I guess Dominator counts as a side character, even though she's the villain. Brad Starlight is hilarious, and it's also I also find it hilarious that James Marsden, the actor who plays Cyclops in the X-Men movies, is the voice of Brad Starlight, and he is clearly enjoying himself. Yeah. Third question. What is a better song? Stronger Than You or I'm the Bad Guy? I don't know. They both have their strengths. I'm the Bad Guy is it feels like such an homage to classic Disney villain songs. Like it's something you could see Scar or Ursula sing. On the other hand, you've got Stronger Than You, which Estelle kills, and it's such a beautiful song about, a couple that is staying together, and yeah, it basically personifies Garnet. And they both really much personify the characters, the I'm the Bad Guy personifies Dominator, and Stronger Than You personifies Garnet perfectly. So I'd say both of them are really good. So thank you for those questions, Shashin. God, I'm gonna completely destroy that name, I'm sorry. So, moving on now to Nicholas Harley, who asks, how high are the stakes of Wander Over Yonder series finale? They were pretty high, and they paid off. Second question, did you not like the fact that Wander was stubborn and didn't help during the fight against Dominator's robot? Yeah, he stuck to his guns. He didn't want to kill anyone. That's his whole thing, is that it never hurts to help, and he doesn't believe in violence. So, yeah. Even up until the very end, Wander stuck to his beliefs, so you can't fault a guy for that. Anyway, third question. Dominator meets Bill Cipher. What deal does she make with him? Give me eternal life, and I'll do whatever you want, or get rid of those idiots? I'm not sure. Thank you for those questions, Nicholas. Moving on now to Freya Hanmore. Hope I'm saying that name right. Lord Hader goes on a vacation and leaves Darth Vader in charge. What happens? Vader runs a tight ship, and whoever's not running that ship gets force choked. Second question: How would you connect Wander to the other shows like Gravity Falls or Star? I'm not really sure if I'd love to see a Disney interconnected universe. They kind of did that with Lilo and Stitch, having her cross over with the Proud Family and American Dragon and Recess and Kim Possible. That was so cool. They did their own little interconnected universe. Too bad you won't see that again. Anyway, but I think it would be cool, like maybe Wander deals with all the space stuff. I don't know. Third question: Do you think there will be a comic book series after the show? As much as I'd like to see that happen, I think it would. I don't think it'll happen because again, Disney was like, Wander wasn't very profitable, so never mind. But who knows? I mean, Powerpuff Girls and Samurai Jack got comics, so you never know. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Freya. Moving on now to May Sun, who asks, what would Lord Dominator think of Mandy from Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? Probably think, is this my kid? I'm pretty sure this is my kid. No, really, I think she would think that's her kid. What would Wander think of Pinkie Pie from MLP? Oh, that would be hilarious. That would just be straight up hilarity ensues. Like the two of them working together to make the ultimate birthday bash. That would probably happen. Third question: What would Lord Hader think of Draken from Kim Possible? Probably a big blue idiot, while Draken thinks, ugh, you Skeletor ripoff. Anyway, thank you for those questions, May Sun. Moving on now to Alpha27, who asks, who do you think is better, Lord Hader or Lord Dominator? I would have to say Lord Dominator. Yes, Hader's pretty powerful, and he had an empire, but he got too wrapped up in trying to kill Wander to do anything, so... And Dominator pretty much conquered the whole galaxy, so... Yeah. Gotta give it to the Dominator. Sorry, I had to get something to drink. So, thank you for those questions, Alpha27. Moving on now to Jeremy Tyler, who asks, if Lord Dominator met Frieza, would she fangirl all over him? More than likely. I could actually see Frieza being like one of Dominator's idols. That's a scary thought. I could actually see that. Anyway, second question. Kid Buu meets Wander, Hader, Dominator. How does each one handle the unstable demonic Imagin? They all get turned into candy. That's the thing. They'd all get turned into candy. Every one of them. Just candy bars. Third question. If you were in a show, who would you like to meet the most and hang out with? Especially I'd like to hang out with Dominator. I'd like to hang out with Wander. I could use some positive help. I could use some positive people in my life. Anyway. So, moving on now, thank you for those questions, Jeremy Tyler. Moving on now to CHC Crusher, or Husher. CHC Husher? I can't, let's just say CHC. What will happen if Wander encounters Darkseid and Thanos? Wander's gonna give him a fruit basket! Wander would still try to give them a fruit basket. It's in his nature. Second question. If the cast from Wander Over Yonder met the cast of MLP, what would they think of each other? I think Sylvia and Rainbow Dash would be instant BFFs. That would be hilarious. And Pinkie and Wander would be, planning the ultimate birthday parties. Yeah. Third question. If the higher-ups, aka those bastards at Disney, gave the show more promotion and a chance, do you believe that Wander Over Yonder would have been one of the best shows of the 2010s, at least top 5 with Steven Universe and Gravity Falls? Absolutely. I think that could have been a chance had they promoted it better, you know? Even the finale was barely promoted only days before the show ended. That shows you how much little they care. Anyway, thank you for those questions, CHC. Moving on now to Travis Rendon, who asks, do you think who would win in a guitar off between Wander and Marceline? Well, Wander only has a banjo, so I have to say Marceline in that one, but I think they would make sweet music together. Get your heads out of the gutter. That's not what I meant, pervs. Second question. What music genre would you like to hear the theme song? For me, rocket metal. Death metal, Wander Over Yonder thing. Wander Over Yonder. I can't do the whole screamo thing or I'm going to wake some people up. Do you think Wander Over Yonder Randy Cunningham crossover would work, and how? I think it could work, but I just don't know how, really. I really don't know how exactly. So, sorry. Anyway, moving right along. Yeah, that was your last one. Thank you for those questions, Travis. Moving on now to Andre Partridge, who asks, what will happen if Commander Peepers and Commander X2 from Duck Dodgers have a few drinks together at the bar? What do you think they'll talk about? How their leaders think their enemies are the greatest... how their leaders are too obsessive over one guy instead of the whole grand picture? Probably something like that. Second question. If Lord Dominator teamed up with Lord Dominator meets Blackfire from the original Teen Titans animated series, what happens? I've always had it that Lord Dominator's kind of promiscuous, so she'd be like, hey, want to go back to my place? That's probably what would happen. Third question. Wander and Sylvia accidentally meet up with the Starship Enterprise while escaping Lord Dominator. What happens? Depending on which one, I'm going to go with original Star Trek one, but Wander messing around with Spock would be nothing short of hilarious. So, thank you for those questions, Andre. Moving on now to the average kid who asks, if you were to choose the best way for Dominator to be defeated, how epic, dramatic, downright awe-inspiring would you like it to be? I'm actually kind of okay with what we got, of Wander sticking to his beliefs and wanting to save Dominator even up until the very end. Second question. If Majin Buu existed in Wander's universe, do you think he'd be the top dog and making even him a tougher challenge for all the villains, including the bad guy? Yeah, no doubt about it. He would be completely unstoppable. Third question. Favorite episode with Dominator in it so far? Probably all of them, but if I was to rank, I think the Battle Royale and the Night Out are probably some of my favorites with her. So, thank you for those questions, average kid. Moving on now to Jake Gross, who asks, if post-finale Dominator fell through some sort of space anomaly and wound up in Beach City with nowhere to go, do you think Steven could help redeeming her? Yeah, Steven could redeem Peridot, and yeah, I'm pretty sure Steven can get to everyone. So that would be the thing, is that I think Steven could do it. I think Steven can save her. Second question, related to the previous question, how do you think her relationship with the Crystal Gems and Connie be? Kind of rocky and icy at first, but I see if any gem's going to warm up to her first, it would probably be Amethyst. Third question, related to the previous question, I think, yeah, basically he's asking what would it be like if Wander was out to save Steven with Dominator's help. I could see it that Wander would be like, oh, you'd finally changed. See, Sylvia, never hurts to help. So thank you for those questions, Jake Gross. Moving on now to Pseudo Aku, who asks, considering how they're both abandoned in space and previously tried to drain all the magma, volcanium, whatever, out of their planets, could you see Tak and Dominator teaming up? Yeah, I could totally see Tak and Dominator completely 100% teaming up together. That would happen. That would legit happen. And they probably work together, too, very well. It would be a very well-oiled team. So thank you for that question, Pseudo Aku. Moving on now to Matt Kaiser08, who asks, Wander TMNT crossover, how would you write it? I think I would have it that Wander and Sylvia have stumbled into Dimension X, and of course Wander wants to go exploring, while Sylvia wants to just get the fuck out of there. Second question, did you have a hated character on the show? Simple answer, nope. Garnet versus Lord Dominator. Who do you think would win that battle? It would be tough, but I'm going to go with Garnet. Garnet is more focused, and she's pretty resistant to lava, which is, one of the two things Dominator has under her power. Ice, she could probably shatter through it. Dominator's also very unfocused and more chaotic. She doesn't really have a plan of doing anything other than just smash, smash, smash. While Garnet is, can think. She's a very think on her feet type character. So I'm going to give it to Garnet. Thank you for those questions, Matt Kaiser. Moving on now to Awesome Rebel 55, who asks, if you could make another season of Wander Over Yonder, what would it be about? I think I would like to do the whole space monkey thing that Craig McCracken wanted to do. That would just be nothing but oodles and oodles of fun. Second question. If you made a Wander Over Yonder crossover episode with a TV series, what would you make it about and why? Maybe Doctor Who. And just have Tom Baker come back to voice the Doctor in that special animated episode. Because, Wander's always reminded me of Tom Baker's Doctor. How do you think the series would be like if Wander was more like Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow? Probably wouldn't be as entertaining, because the thing is that Wander is so polite and doesn't think about violence at all. Well, Jack sometimes thinks about violence. Let's think for those questions. Awesome Rebel. Moving on now to Markel Barnes, 360, who asks, Lord Dominator meets Zoom, Ultron, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Marceline, Sunset Shimmer, and Red Hood. She'd be laughing and mocking all of them until they all collectively just decide to gang up on her and beat her ass. Yeah. Second question. What if Wander and Sylvia met Rick and Morty? Morty, Rick would be constantly calling him, oh god, he's such a fucking optimist. I hate that little orange muppet. Third question. Hater and Peepers meets Draken and Shigo. I think Peepers and... Well, I've already kind of answered the Draken and Hater one, but Peepers and Shigo would definitely be... If watching those two would be like, so, you work for an idiot too, huh? Yep. I'm so sorry for you. So thank you for those questions, Markel Barnes. Moving on now to Shockwave Spider, who asks, who do you think is a bigger idiot besides Hater? Mojo, Zim, McFist, or Doofenshmirtz? Zim. The dude attacked his own planet, and he's ruined a lot of lives unintentionally, mostly his own people. How would you write a Wander Over Yonder Season 3 continuation comic in video games similar to Samurai Jack continuation? I don't really know. I honestly don't know. I kind of already answered this question anyway, so yeah. Star Butterfly versus Lord Hater. Who wins? I would have to say, in a battle between Hater and Star, while Hater's powerful, like I said, he's also kind of an idiot. Star, while she is rambunctious, she can be focused when she wants to be, so I give it to Star. Moving on now to Andrew Schaefer, whose first question is... Thank you for this question, Shockwave Spider. Moving on now to Andrew Schaefer, who asks, Dominator versus Shao Kahn. I'm going to give it to Shao Kahn. He's just almost godlike in strength, and also he would just wreck her in and out of the bedroom. I'm just saying. Second question. Lord Hater managed to, against all odds, gain control of Gigan. How does he screw this up? Oh, he completely, utterly just destroys everything. And by everything, I mean the Watchdogs and all the planets they've controlled. He would call Gigan Hatersaurus Rex, or something of that nature, and Gigan would be enough like, I have had enough of this shit. Alright, Wander and Sylvia end up at the Death Star. What shenanigans ensue? Wander breaks everything, pretending to be, I think he would have a plan of destroying this from the inside out. He would have a plan right off the bat, but yeah, he would pretend to be just this lovable dork. Alright, moving on now to Brian Cam, who asks, to refer to my question in your Empire Q&A that reveals that Dominator's ship can transform into a mech, do you think she has a chance against the entirety of the Empire forces, or would you prefer to take on a more bigger transformer, and if so, who? I'm always a sucker for giant robot fights, and plus, seeing Dominator fight the likes of Bruticus or Devastator would be pretty awesome, so gotta go with that. Second question. The Moffs and Stormtroopers are both original and new films are forced to listen to one of Hater's concerts and endure Emperor Awesome's parties. What are their reactions, and how do they retaliate with no Death Star weapons? They all collectively kill themselves. Like, could they stand? They would probably party for a little bit and be like, God, this sucks. We got to get out of here. Anyway, third question. Who do you think has more scarier and hilarious temper tantrums, Lord Hater or Kylo Ren? I'm going to give it to Hater. Anyway. Moving on now to Pinky Pool, who asks, what would it be if Wander and Sylvia met the Powerpuff Girls, and what would Lord Hater think of Mojo Jojo? He'd be like, "Ha! Stupid monkey! I zap you good!" And Wander and Bubbles would be adorable, hanging out together, and Sylvia and Buttercup would be awesome. Second question. Wander and Sylvia go into another galaxy and end up in a cat-themed planet. What shenanigans would ensue? They'd be sacrificed to the great litter box in the sky, or something like that. Third question. With the show ending, would the creator jump ship and go back to Cartoon Network, or work on reboot of Powerpuff Girls? You see, that's the thing. He's not gonna go. Craig McCracken's in no way gonna go back. He's already said, I can't. I couldn't even go back if I wanted to. They didn't call me. They don't want me there. So yeah, Craig McCracken can't come back to do episodes apparently. Also, he can't just mosey around and go to Pixar or whatever. The animation business is a very cutthroat place, so you have to pick your battles. That's all I have to say. So thank you for those questions, Pinky Pool. Moving on now to What's Up, and he asks, will Wander finally save the galaxy and defeat Dominator once and for all? In fact, he did. He did, in fact, save the galaxy. Also, I want to bring something up that someone actually thought was a better ending for the show. And I think it would been a lot better for the series ending rather than that cliffhanger ending we got. It being that instead of, when Wander saves Dominator, he instead decides to leave the galaxy in Sylvia and Hater and Peeper's hands, claiming that, look, I've done all I can here, so I'm going to go with Dominator to another galaxy and teach her everything I know. It never hurts to help. And the reason why it's kind of like that is because Sylvia was like that at one point. We saw in The Waste of Time that Sylvia was a bounty hunter who was going to collect Wander for a bounty. So, yeah, he kind of wants to start all over again with Dominator. And now he travels to another galaxy. You see Wander, say his goodbyes, saying like, well, time to mosey on down to another place. So he just goes with him and Dominator, travel to another galaxy, and start a whole new adventure while Sylvia, Hater, and Peepers and the other characters like Dracor and the other characters, help rebuild the galaxy that has been newly reborn. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go, guys. Once again, I want to apologize for the audio malfunction in the original Q&A I did this of. So I am deeply sorry for that. I wasn't aware of that. But hopefully this one sounds better. Anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.